up, my man? Society, it is your host with the most, Shadow Loke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. It's absolutely free. That is how you help my channel get into the algorithm. Highly appreciate if you go ahead and do that. Now, what I wanted to get into today was actually about Triskaidekaphobia. Now, this came about because I was doing a rap and I was showing a homie, right? And, one of the lyrics I had said was, you have these fuck boys, stuck on that opium, claiming how they fearless, but knowing damn whether they have Triskaidekaphobia. And he was like, what the fuck is that? So Triskaidekaphobia is actually the fear of the number 13. Now, you guys may think that I'm making this up or stuff like that because, the homie was like, nah, you're fucking lying. You're making that up. And it's like, no, it's a real illness, bro. It's a real disease. And it's actually common knowledge, just people, I guess, don't connect them, right? Basically, we have a whole entire, kind of holiday around it, which is Friday the 13th. That's literally what it's based off of, right? Because you have individuals and countries, numerous countries, right, that are afraid of the number 13. They don't use the number 13, right? You see some hotels have from room 12 to 14. Some, buildings, tall buildings, goes from, 12 to 14. They skip 13th. Airplanes only have 12th row and then 14th row. There's no 13th row because the number is seen as unlucky. You know what I mean? Now, why is the number seen unlucky? It's seen unlucky. I wouldn't say this is one reason why it's seen unlucky, but a numerous, reasons of why it's seen as unlucky. One of the reasons why it's seen as unlucky is because Jesus Christ himself was crucified on Friday the 13th, right? That's the day that he was crucified. Not only was that the day that he was crucified, but in the last dinner, the 13th person, to see in the dinner was, Judas, who's the one that backstabbed Jesus and the reason for that led to his crucifixion, right? So obviously seen as something that's unlucky, right? And not just within religion, right? But even like Norse mythology, right? Where you had the gods that met up at Valhalla, right? For like a gathering, right? And Loki showed up unexpected, right? And when he showed up unexpected, it ruined the balance, the balance, right? And that's when you got mischief and plague and all that in society, right? Because of the unbalance that he created when he arrived, right? Uninvited. So, that also plays, a role in it. Also because of the code of Hammurabi, right? Which obviously Hammurabi was the ruler of Babylonia. And since in, the oldest document, right, is the 13 laws that, were, written, right, of how he ruled. But obviously the 13th law was left out. It was actually a misprint by the person that was taking it down, right? But people seen this as an unlucky, or whatever, right? So there's numerous reasons of why throughout history, why the number is seen as bad, right? And yeah, it's tied to a lot of, religion, if you really look at it, right? But for numerous reasons, people see the number as unlucky, right? That's why you have this whole Friday the 13th and why people leave out the number 13 and how 12 is seen as an even number, right? As the number of perfect balance, but 13 is seen as unbalanced, right? So chaotic and shit like that, right? So that is the reason why people choose to leave out, or it's the number 13 has this, stigma to it, right? Throughout the world in different religions, different, cultures, right? So that's just the way it is. It has nothing to do with the whole gangbanging stuff and all that. Now, here in America, I guess that plays a role, right, of why people see the number 13 as something negative, right? But yeah, you actually have people that fear the number 13, right? And then you have some people that embrace it, right? But the homies' representation of the number 13 has nothing to do with all that, right? It's just a coincidence, But yeah, it's a real thing. It's not something that I made up, right? You can look it up if you want. But yeah, that's just a fun fact that I just wanted to talk about because I guess, homies, I thought more people were aware of that. But since everybody, knows about Friday the 13th, I just assumed that everybody would know this, right? But, but What are your thoughts? Leave it in the comments and shout out. We out.